There's been a near total blackout of the allegations against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. It's not just Hunter Biden. It's also whether Joe Biden was involved, possibly took a bribe as the sitting vice president, as this FBI form suggests may have happened. We do not know whether that's true. But an investigative press would want to get to the bottom of it. We don't have a curious investigative press anymore. And yesterday there was a big development in the White House messaging on just how involved Joe may have been in Hunter's business affairs. Miranda Devine has been saying it wasn't Joe involved in Hunter's business affairs. It was Joe's business affairs that he used Hunter to execute on. An important distinction and a possibility people need to keep in mind. All along, from when he was running for president, he said, I have never talked to my son or anyone in my family about their business dealings. And then yesterday, a shift in how the White House discussed this issue, and it was an important one. We've put together a montage of the previous statements. The last statement in here will be Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday, changing the wording in a way that's going to prove important. Watch.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period. I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business.
Do you stand by your statement that you did not discuss any of your son's overseas business?
Yes, I stand by that statement. No, I don't discuss business with my son. I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine.
The president was never in business with his son.
In business with. And that wasn't the question. And she prefaced it, Charles, with, I've answered this a million times. The answer's not going to change. And then she changed it materially from he's never discussed business with his son to he's never been in business with his son, which is an important distinction. I believe it's also a lie, but the White House won't allow us to actually inquire. They won't appoint a special counsel on this. And the press is only, to overstate it, mildly interested in the story.
I don't think the press is interested in the story at all. I have been astonished by the total radio silence that we have seen on this issue. And I have grown tired of having to say, so I will say once again, that I don't know whether this is true or not, but that there's an awful lot of smoke. Why is it that I have been giving the same answer on this as the smoke has piled up into the sky for months? Because the press doesn't care. It's a slightly different topic, but there was an astonishing incident last week when two IRS whistleblowers spoke in Congress about Hunter Biden, and the press didn't cover it. The Washington Post did not report on it at all. It wasn't that it was buried at the back. It wasn't that they spun the issue. They simply refused to report on it. Meanwhile, you see endless stories about a Supreme Court Christmas party with 3 or 4 bylines on them. The time has come for the institutions in this country that have resources and expertise in investigative reporting to look into this properly, to assign 4, 5, 10, 15 people to determine whether or not the allegations that we have heard and the evidence that we have seen amount to something serious. If I were President Biden, I would want that. I would want my name to be cleared if this weren't true. Certainly, as a citizen who admittedly does not like President Biden at all, I want to know whether there is something to this, because it's really odd how many of these little threads, when tugged at, seem to be connected to something larger. It's not looking good, is it?
No, it's not. And just to expand on that last comment by Karine Jean-Pierre, the question from Fox's Jillian Turner was, curious if the White House and president still stand behind his comment that he's never been involved and has never even spoken to his son about his business. And she goes on to say, I've been asked a million times. The answer is not going to change. The president was never in business with his son. Amazingly, so many in the media bite. They're too lazy, too dumb to actually understand that's a whole new deflection by the White House that it is different from all the ones we've heard before. Mediaite is a website that covers the media. This is their headline. KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre, definitively states that President Biden, quote, was never in business with his son. Hello, that's not the headline. That's not the significance of what just happened there. As any honest reporter would tell you, even Peter Baker, I must say, of the New York Times, pointed it out. He noticed it and actually tweeted about it, so good for him. But you have other reporters who will just phone it in and go wherever the little doggy treat leads them. You know, it's just like my Strudwick. You know, wherever the doggy treat is, that's where he will go. He will not pause to think about the fact that he might be going off a cliff. Sweet Strudwick. I'll make sure that doesn't happen to him. So you've got now, as the smoke starts to get thicker and thicker, Kevin McCarthy, who is Speaker of the House, Republican-controlled, going on Hannity last night and saying, I think we have time for it, the following, SOT 8.
If you're sitting in our position today, we would know none of this if Republicans had not taken the majority. We've only followed where the information has taken us. But Hannity, this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed. I believe we will follow this all the way to the end, and this is going to rise to an impeachment inquiry the way the Constitution tells us to do this, and we have to get the answers to these questions.
He used the I word. What do you make of that?
Well, he said impeachment inquiry. I would caution Republicans from getting ahead of themselves. But if the worst version of the allegations here is true, then of course the president would have to resign or be impeached. It's possible that we've seen nefarious activity or immoral activity that doesn't rise to that level. But if indeed this was a pay-for-play scheme and government policy was changed or a position was abused in exchange for money, and that money was funneled through all manner of shell accounts and family members, yeah, this would be an impeachment level offense. So I hope they focus as much on the inquiry as the impeachment bit and make sure that it's in that order.
Yeah, because if he actually did take a bribe to change U.S. policy toward Ukraine while the sitting vice president, impeachment is the least of his problems. He's going to jail.
No question.
He might be in prison. For 3 days only, cbdistillery.com is giving you an exclusive offer, and it's a great one. Right now, you can get up to 50% off everything when you use the code VIP. Choose from a range of carefully formulated CBD and other plant-based solutions for relaxation, stress, sleep, pain after physical activity, even mood and focus. They extract healing plant compounds and vital nutrients for your whole body. No artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, or sweeteners. Just 100% clean ingredients. Don't miss this exclusive VIP sale and get up to 50% off your order. Visit cbdistillery.com and enter VIP. That's cbdistillery.com and enter VIP. cbdistillery.com. Not available in Idaho, Iowa, or South Dakota. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.